Hi, good morning. We are going to start now. Let me see if the audio is okay. And here we are. Okay, welcome, Ignacio. Welcome. Okay, the audio is okay, so I have connected to Ignacio. Welcome, Ignacio. And I can see another two persons connected. Please, if you have any doubt, any comment, use the chat. Use the chat here in order to put your comment. Don't wait until the final because we don't have enough time until the final. So please use the chat now. Si tienen cualquier duda, usen el chat ahora, no esperen el final. So let me share my screen so we can check the slides that I made for you. Here are the slides. So we are in the week number 2 of the module 7, My Work in Other Language. And we are checking the unit number 3, Customs and Traditions. What about the agenda of this session? Well, first, we are going to check the training purpose and expected learning. Also, I want to check with you the integrative activities, some general instructions and the review of the main topics in order to make these activities. And the formative activities. What about the formative activities and additional activities of this week? So, first, about the expected learning. For this week, you are going to learn to communicate by an speaking way and also in a writing way events of the past that happened in the past. They happen in the past with the past simple or past in the past, but it doesn't finish. Past continuous. Vamos a usar el pasado continuo para eventos que ocurrieron en el pasado, pero que no acabaron en el pasado, y el pasado simple para eventos que ocurrieron en el pasado y que acabaron en el pasado. That's why we are talking about customs and traditions, talking about celebrations and world events, memories, and my lifetime. And for this, we have two integrative activities. The activity number 3, a happy day. You must write about a happy day of your life, the happiest, el día más feliz de tu vida. You have to remember what happened this day, feel about this day, and why was the happiest day of your life. ¿Por qué fue el día más feliz de tu vida? So you have to write about these 3 questions. And with this information, you are going to write what happened in your happiest day. Also, you need to add a picture, and I want to check with you an example that I made for you. And look, I put this about my happiest day. The happiest day of my life was October 3rd, 2016. I am writing, of course, in past. Was. It was when my child was born. My child was born by a cesarean operation in a hospital. I remember I wanted a natural birth, however, I never started the contractions. So the doctor decided to make the operation. I was feeling, past continuous, stressed and nervous. However, all things was doing well. Also, past continuous. The cesarean operation was easy and fast. Past. I had a good recovery. Also, another time past. And the baby was healthy. Was is past. It was the happiest day of my life because I know a person who was being inside me and I didn't have met him. This is about the birth of my child. So I sang with read all the verbs in past or past continuous. So this is why you have to write about your happiest day. And remember, you don't need to put the answer just here with the next to the question. No, you have to write a kind of paragraph, 5 to 8 lines, with the information that contains the answer to these 3 or 4 questions. So that's why. And finally, you are going to, it's important to know about the past events. And you have to write a paragraph, 5 to 8 lines also to answer the question. I here put a kind of example. 5 to 8 lines. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The past events are the moments of our life that and they make us be like we are. So in order to try to understand who we are, we need to know about our history. Los eventos pasados son momentos de nuestras vidas que nos marcan y nos hacen ser como somos. Comprender y entender por qué somos como somos, necesitamos saber acerca de nuestra historia. Y pueden seguirle agregando todo lo demás que quieran. Okay? But you need a paragraph answering this question. Why is important to know about the past events? And finally, you have to record an audio where you read the history of your happiest day. So, and you are going to copy the URL here. And this is about this activity. What do you need to know about this activity? Well, you need to know about the past simple grammar. Remember, with the past simple, we use the subject and the past of the verb. I ran, yo corrí. Remember that we have regular and irregular verbs. Run, for example, is an irregular verb. You have to review or to check the list that you have in platform with the regular and irregular verbs. The regular verbs, you just add an ed at the final to indicate that it's a past. And with irregular verbs, there are no rules. So you have to memorize the verb because it have no rule present or the past. For the negative form, we use the subject, the auxiliary did, and also not, and the very infinitive verb. I didn't run. And remember that you can use the contracted form like didn't or did not. And for the interrogative way, you put first the auxiliary, followed by the subject and the verb. And of course, at the final, the question mark. And you need to use did for all pronouns. There is no variation in between the pronouns. You always use did. Did is the past of the verb do, but here is just an auxiliary that indicates us that the sentence is in past. The verb to be in past. What about the verb to be? So you can say, I was happy yesterday, or they were nervous last night, weren't friends last year, or he and she wasn't sad last week. We use was for the pronouns he, she, it. Were for you, they, and we don't use the did. We just deny the verb to be. So, for the verb to be, we don't use the auxiliary. Para el verbo to be, no usamos el auxiliar did. For this reason, I am talking about the verb to be because it is an exception. You just put for the affirmative form, the verb to be in past, and it could be was for the pronouns he, she, it, and I, or were for the pronouns they, we, or you. And if you want to deny the verb, si quieres negar el verbo, you just put weren't or wasn't. Weren't is the contracted form of were not, and wasn't is the contracted form for was not. This is about the past. Past simple. What about the past continuous? It's exactly the same. You need to put the subject, the past verb to be, was, for example, or were, and the ing verb, I was running. It's always this way. Subject, verb to be in past, and the verb with ing termination. I was running. Yo estaba corriendo. And remember, was for I, he, she, and it, for you, we, and they. For the negative form, you weren't running. Okay? And for the interrogative form, we put first the verb to be, followed by the subject, and the ing verb, and finally the question mark. Was she running? Or were they running, for example? So, this is the topics that you need to manage to answer and to do the activity number 3, past simple. Okay, here, you have any doubt? Please put. Okay, Ignacio have some comments. He say, the audio. Oh, there are 2 audios. I don't think so. Let me see, what is this? Ignacio, perdón, creo que es tu computadora porque estoy revisando el audio del YouTube y no se escucha doble. Entonces creo que tal vez tienes una doble sesión abierta. Tal vez lo abriste 2 veces en YouTube porque el audio del YouTube se escucha bien para mí. Y no tengo problemas con el audio, Ignacio. Entonces, por favor, si puedes revisar lo que estás tú viendo, porque mi audio está bien, no tengo doble salida, se escucha bien, ya estoy revisándolo. Entonces, sí, it was already, okay, Ignacio, I know. It was maybe you have opened the same session 2 times. It happens sometimes. So, wonderful. Okay, so this is about activity number 3. Now, what about the activity number 4? My family timeline. This is a kind of large activity, and it have a lot part. First you have to write. I'm going to open the example that I make for you. For this activity, of course, also you have to download the format, making my family timeline, that you can find on platform in the instructions of the activity. And first, you need to write 10 questions in English and the same 10 questions in Spanish. I didn't make all the questions because it could be like making the activity for you. But I made some examples. The first example is, when were my parents born? Remember that these questions have to help you to make your timeline history or your family timeline. Preguntas te tienen que ayudar a construir la historia de tu familia. So, it needs to give you some information about your family history. When were my grandparents born? ¿Cuándo nacieron mis abuelos? And remember that you are going to make these questions to some relative. So, he or she answered to you. So you can make your timeline. It have to be an older person, of course. Recuerda que tú estas preguntas a un familiar que debe ser más grande que tú y que te pueda dar información de tu historia familiar. Another example. When did my grandparents get married? ¿Cuándo se casaron mis abuelos? When did they move to the town? ¿Cuándo se mudaron a la ciudad? So these are some examples, but you can use this for making the rest of your questions. So here are 10 questions, and you are going to translate the same 10 questions in English in Spanish. Finally, you are going to interview a member of your family and to ask these same questions, and you are going to write the answer. The answer is in English and also in Spanish. For example, for the first question, when were my grandparents born? My grandmother was born in 4 July 1933, and my grandfather was born at 4 July 1940. Mi abuela nació el 4 de julio de 1933 y mi abuelo nació el 14 de julio de 1940. So you have to write complete answers and with the information that gives you the member of your family. And finally, you are going to make a timeline with the information provided. Here, you are going to make your timeline. I sent you, here we are. I sent you a template of that you can use to make your timeline. I sent you in the orientation of the activities. I put the message in the notice forum and also so you can use these templates so you are you are not going to use so much time to design your timeline. You just have to put the events that occurs and you have one example, two examples. So after you have done your family timeline in PowerPoint, you have to go to this part, archivo, save as, guardar como, y vas a guardarlo en alguna carpeta. And here, tipo, you can select it and you are going to select JPG here. So by this way, you are going to save your file in a picture in file. Para guardar tu PowerPoint como una imagen, tú tienes que hacer esto. Guardar como y aquí en tipo le cambias el archivo. By this way, you just paste the picture Word file. Entonces ya puedes pegar la imagen en tu archivo de Word. And here, for example, I put the first event, grandmother's birth. My grandmother was born at 4 November 1944. And here I am going to put the other event. And here we are. So you can use as much slide as you have events. Tienes que usar tantas imágenes como eventos tengas. And finally, you are going to write what or how do you feel when you listen your family history. And you have to write a paragraph or 5 to 8 lines here. And then you have to record an audio describing your family timeline, only the timeline. And you are going to copy the URL and copy here. For this activity, also you have to use the past simple, the past of the verb to be, and the past continuous. I'm going to check with you the use of the auxiliary did. if you want to remember, if for the questions that you have to do questions in the activity number 4, you have to put first the auxiliary, the subject, the verb in infinitive, and the complement and the question mark. Did you watch TV last night? ¿Viste televisión anoche? So the verb is in infinitive. You don't put the verb in past. Why? Because you have already the did, the auxiliary did that indicates past. No pones el verbo de nuevo en pasado porque ya tienes el auxiliar did que está indicando pasado. So, you are not going to add the ed. No van a agregar la ed. So, what about to answer? Yes, I did, or no, I didn't. ¿Sale? Also, remember that you need to use the expression, the preposition of time, at, in, on, and the verbs of time during, ago, last, and for. At 9 o'clock, you just have to check these time expressions that help you to describe past events. And the formative activities, we have two: King of Rock and Roll, and you are going to check the past time with this activity. And I suggest you work on these activities that help you to reinforce the topics. And what you did yesterday, you are going to work with the auxiliary did, and it will help you to reinforce this topic about the auxiliary did. And I am done. I'm fin. Remember that we need to add for the past tense the verb with ing after the verb to be. And remember, we have reviewed some roles during week 1. We recheck these same slides. And remember that you just need to add the ing, but there are some other roles like you have to double the consonant in some verbs like run, hug, admit, or begin that ends in a consonant, more vowel, more consonant. And if it ends in E, you just drop E and add ing, dancing. You remove this E. And it ends in double X or J, you just add ing. And if it ends in IE, die, dying, like, lying, tie, tying, you drop IE and add jing, die, touching. These are some roles. Remember that we checked this topic the last week. So I am just reinforcing this topic. So I am finished. I am done with the session. I don't know if you have some troubles. Ignacio, what a nice notice. What a nice news. It's very important that you deliver your activities on time. That, like you have noticed, there are some troubles in platform when you want to get in. I mean, the problem is solving now, but always take in account that this could happen. So don't wait until the final to deliver your activities. Upload your activities with enough time so you can have time to resolve any problem that you can. Como ustedes saben, siempre hagan la entrega de sus actividades en tiempo, ya que han visto que tenemos algunos problemas en plataforma y si ustedes hacen su entrega en tiempo, no van a tener muchos problemas para hacer su entrega o van a tener tiempo para resolver cualquier problema que se les presente. Ok. Okay, Ignacio, so welcome one more time to this second session. And if you don't have any doubt, I will finish this second session because I have already seen all the things that I want to check with you about the activities of this week, about the topics of this week. And I don't want to delay so much this session if it doesn't have anything else to complete it. Okay, Ignacio. So I am not going to say goodbye because we still having communication in platform, but I am going to say see you later. And remember that if you need something, anything that you need, you can write. Yeah, and you can write on the messenger of the platform. You can write by email, or even you can use the learning forum. Don't forget to use the learning forum for this week. So see you later and have a nice Wednesday and also a very good week. See you later, guys. Okay, Ignacio. See you later.